Hope we're not having connection issues. What's up, everybody? Nobody's here yet, so I guess that's just for the recording. Anyways, quick disclaimer, not a medical professional. Nothing I say is health advice, not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is recommendation for investment. Law-abiding citizen. Nothing I say is admission of guilt. And I am not a yoga instructor of any sort. Nothing I say is instruction on yoga. That being said, we got our first person here. Hello, our first person. Who do we got? Anyways, I don't really have any anything planned to talk about, so we'll see if anyone shows up and wants to ask some questions. I just wanted to pop in here and see what's up with everybody. Looks like I got this there we go. Maybe that fixes the audio. What's up, Jason? Welcome to my stream. It's a lovely Wednesday, I think. No guarantees on that. There we go. Guten Morgen. What's up, Franquita? How's everyone doing? Anyways, you guys, I don't really know what to talk about. I do have some kind of weird revelation, but I don't know how exciting it is for other people. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I guess I don't have to sleep anymore. And I'm not on drugs, is the interesting thing. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that don't sleep, but I'm pretty sure they're all on something, you know. What's up, bud? What's wrong? You still gotta go? Alright, fine, go. Just don't get ran over. Just the dog's gotta go. He's gotta go when he's gotta go. Yeah, I don't know. It's this weird thing. Like I don't know what part of the path this is, but and it could just be because I quit smoking, quit drinking coffee, but yeah, it's like even when I'm asleep, like even when I'm dreaming, I'm like still conscious. Like I don't lose consciousness when I sleep anymore. It's really strange. Yeah, I feel rested, I feel coherent, but I don't know. Like I didn't sleep a wink last night. I didn't even dream last night. I don't know. It's bizarre. I'm not really sure what's going on, but yeah. Did I quit the business? I did quit the business. Yeah, the dreams are intense. That's the cool thing about when you quit smoking, but it's really, the weird thing is like I'll be like dreaming, like half my brain will be dreaming, the other half is like knows exactly where I'm at. I know that I'm dreaming, you know, thinking about, you know, it's like I'm doing two things at once with my brain right now. It's really weird. I don't know. But, okay, let's see. 1 second. Let me get rid of this person because I know you guys, luckily they censored that automatically, but we got some weird person was just here. But yeah, I quit the business. Let's see, I'm gonna get rid of this person too. Remove. Oh wait, how do I get rid of them permanently? Let's see, 1 second. Sorry guys, I gotta drop a couple people here. Let's see. All right, we're back. What's happening in South Korea? See old Mr. I can't read your screen name, but you know, I still have not aged today. Well, thank you. I feel like I'm kind of been aging reverse, honestly. I was like doing worse at some point. Sam, come here! Get in here. Stop fucking with people. Get in. I guess he was barking at me. He wanted to get in. Come on. Alright. The dog's taken care of. I can focus now. Alright, so Meg Johnson says, hello Bruce, greetings from Germany. Big fan of yours since I saw your adult movies. Well, happy to have you, Meg. I don't really see that your preferences are relevant to anything, but you're very welcome regardless of that. Happy to have you here. Frankie just says, do you believe that dreams are a window into spiritual self, revealing hidden truths and guidance from the universe? Or they're simply the mind's way of processing daily life? I think it could be either or both. I honestly think that, I think that dreams are actually closer to reality than our actual reality, in a sense. Not to say that your dreams are real or anything like that, but what I mean by that is that I think that, if you shake your body and you are in your superconscious form or your, the form of your higher self, I think that probably consciousness is probably a lot like having a non-stop, endless, lucid dream. So, I think that it's possible that sometimes our mind just takes a little break from reality for a little while and goes back to, or maybe our 3D consciousness shuts down for a little while, and then we get a little peek into whatever our higher self is up to, which is doing weird stuff in other realms. I don't know, something like that. How to tell the difference? That's a good question. I think that's probably based upon emotion and probably based upon how much you remember your dreams. Like, I think that if it's just a dream, it's kind of the kind of thing where you just wake back up and that memory just kind of vanishes, But, like I have some dreams that I remember in vivid detail that are from literally, 25 years ago or whatever. So it's like, those are the ones where I feel that, there was like something more going on than just my subconscious mind working things out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who Steve from Minecraft is, Alien from Minecraft, but hey, yeah, I don't know anything about Minecraft, to be honest. What's the dog doing? The dog was taking a shit. He was putting on a show for the Starbucks drive-thru. People are ordering their drink and Sam's just popping a squat. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry, I'm going to go pick it up after the stream. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Janice, I had definitely some good experiences with Janice at some point. Bonjour, Doreen, DV. Sam TM, not you, Sam. My dog thought I was talking to him. But I try not to steal. I've borrowed a couple times maybe in life, but it wasn't on purpose. I always gave it back. Well, not always, but most of the time I give it back. Let's see. Jonathan says, sometimes I can force a dream where I can fly just by putting more tension to my legs and arms, flying faster and higher. Nice dream, by the way. That is kind of like basically astral projecting. I do the same thing when I astral project. I like to put my legs up a little bit and then like kind of, like, yeah, it's like definitely, that's very cool. And you should definitely expand on that, Mick. You would be, well, maybe you wouldn't be amazed, but you might be amazed at how much you can progress that skill. And you could be flying around in space whenever you want, doing all kinds of cool stuff. Frankita says, 1/2 in lucid dreaming. When you're aware that you're dreaming, do you think it's possible to access deeper layers of your subconscious or even connect with higher realms of consciousness? And if so, how do you feel that impacts your waking life? Well, how does it impact your waking life? That's a good question. I'm going to start with the first half of that. I think that probably yes. I think that most likely in lucid dreaming, you're accessing deeper layers of your subconscious. Or I wouldn't even actually say actually, I take that back. In regular dreaming, where you're not lucid, I would imagine you're accessing deeper layers of your subconscious. But in lucid dreaming, I believe that you're probably more like accessing something closer to your superconscious. So, it really just depends. I don't have a ton of experience with the lucid dreaming. Like I am now like I know when I'm dreaming right now, and I have done lucid dreaming before, but lately I have not. I don't know I'm sure I could probably take control of those dreams, but I haven't tried. It's because it's been kind of just like I'm really just trying to get sleep. But it's just like the sleep's not coming, but the dreams are coming, but I'm like still awake. I don't know. It's a really weird thing. But to the second part of that, of how do I think it impacts your waking life, it definitely makes the unconscious part of your day, or the less conscious part of your day, I guess, in some cases, a lot more interesting. That's for sure. And I think that, I think that there's also a really, really awesome phenomenon and tool that can be used in the lucid dreaming sense, where it's like, you can use, like I've done this before, where I was just thinking about something, like it was something that I was trying to build, and it was kind of like like an engineering kind of a thing. Like I was trying to create this ozone-based disinfection system. Like, I don't know, that little part's not really important, but I was thinking about it so hard, and I like kind of dozed off or tranced out or something, and like I was able to do something where I felt like I was in like a very realistic simulation, and that I was able to basically experiment with my project without actually doing anything in the physical world. And I think that is something that I think probably a lot of people have refined that and can do that, especially artistic people, or people like Einstein, and like just these savant type people that are able to do or Tesla, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that the way that they're able to operate at such a high level in a lot of those cases is that they're able to access that like psychic workspace, where rather than having to like do everything in the real world, that you can just kind of enter like basically like the Matrix like training program, you know, where you just can experiment with things in a realistic sense in your dream state, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, I hope that answers the question, or maybe at least gives some food for thought, because I'm you know, no expert on all that, but you know, I do think that things like that are well within the realm of possibility. Sam Team says, give it back destroyed. Well, you know, I prefer the term broken in. No, I'm just kidding. So Frankita says, so you think that tapping into superconscious allows us to access universal intelligence and divine wisdom beyond the limitations of the mind? And if so, how do you think this heightened awareness influences understanding of reality? Yes, I would say that that is extremely accurate regarding what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and regarding the you know, divine wisdom and universal intelligence, I don't actually think that you necessarily need to be asleep to access that, but I do think that if what you're trying to use that for is something that is applicable in the third dimension, then it definitely helps it helps you when you're awake to see and feel everything in the dream state, because, you know, there's like different applications, right? So it's like, if you want to just know something, like say you want to know something about something you'll never see or never do or never touch, whatever, you know, something cosmic, something outside of this world, you don't really need to see it and touch it and feel it and all that. But perhaps in some cases, you know, say you want to like train for a new skill or something, or learn a new skill, I think you could probably practice, you know, in your dream using your superconscious, you know, then and in that case it probably would you know, help a lot. Fighter Pilot says, what advice would you give someone to follow their dreams? So, well, since we're talking about dreams, and just to get the context correct, I assume that you mean like following your dreams as in your aspirations and things that you want to accomplish in life, or do you mean your actual dreams? Because we're kind of like talking about a slightly different type of dream. But I mean, if you mean like just following your aspirations in life and stuff, my best advice would be that you have to not be afraid to sacrifice things. Like, if there's, you know, you gotta, you know, I truly believe that anything you want to accomplish, you can almost definitely, most likely accomplish, but you can't have it all. You know what I'm saying? Or at least not all at once. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to, if you have a dream, you got to be willing to do anything for it. You know, a lot of people have a dream, but then they're like, oh, you know, I can't do it because I have kids, or, oh, I have a dream, but oh, my partner doesn't you know, want to move to the place where I have to go to make that a reality, or or it takes a lot of work or anything. But it's just like, in general, it's like if you're not willing to it's always going to be a trade-off for everything. So it's like, just, if you're willing to sacrifice everything and anything in your life for that, then most likely you'll be able to accomplish it. But very little happens without sacrifice. Most people will say, oh, work hard work, da 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 da. I am not that guy. I don't think you necessarily have to work hard at everything, but you can. That can be a form of sacrifice. You can sacrifice your time. You can sacrifice, your body even. You can sacrifice a lot of things. But realistically, if you want to follow your dreams, you have to put following your dreams above everything else in your life. And if you do that, and you're willing to sacrifice anything for it, then really there should be almost nothing that you're able to not accomplish. And if you decide that the sacrifices required for whatever that you dream of is too great for you to make, then perhaps the other thing we're talking about, dreaming, is an interesting realm for you, and you can learn to lucid dream, and perhaps you can have those experiences in your mind. Forget. Oh, I'm happy to always be sharing my journey with you, Frankita, and everybody else. I am a little, I haven't had coffee and stuff, so I'm a little slow today, but yeah. How old am I? I will be 39 next month. In less than a month, actually. So I'm pretty much 39. So make your comment got held because it was not really super appropriate for YouTube, but no, I am not into any of that. I'm completely and totally straight. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Any other questions, everybody? Looks like we caught up on the chat pretty quick. But yeah, I don't really know what's going on with this thing. It's been literally 5 days since I slept, you guys. But I mean, I was dreaming every night. It's very strange. Frankita says, when you feel stuck or stagnant on your spiritual journey, do you think it's a sign that you're missing a deeper lesson, or is it simply part of the natural ebb and flow of growth, and how can you distinguish between the two? Well, for me, honestly, of course I've had my stagnations, but even with the stagnations, it's only been a little over a year now since things started picking up. And of course, there are a couple of experiences that happened, years ago, which I think were maybe some early parts of everything. When I seen the gold hands and all that, for whoever remembers that story. But the overall, it's been pretty rapid over the last year, even with the stagnations. And for me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, of course, other than myself, because I am not I have no education on all this world. I have no, I don't really read that much about it. I just kind of let my own experiences happen, and then if something really interesting happens or intense happens, then I tend to go and try to find other accounts of something similar, so that I know if it's, a documented normal thing or not. But for me, it's really been, it really just all goes back, like, for me, it's usually that I'm like drinking too much coffee. It's like a big one. That's the main thing that makes me stagnate, is coffee. Because once I get totally clean from the coffee, I know, deep down inside, I know how good that cup is going to be. That first cup that's like no tolerance cup. I know, and that day can be amazing. But, I've went back to it a few times because it was just too good. I was like, oh wow, this is so good. I wonder if I can get away with that again. And eventually it does start, wearing on me, even to the point that sometimes after some big experiences, I get into a state where I'm like really like revved up spiritually and really extra powerful, and I kind of, I guess, get an ego about it, and start thinking like, oh, whatever, I can drink coffee, like nothing will stop me now. And sure enough, it eventually gets back into me, to where it's kind of stagnates me. And then, of course, then I get a, negative connotation about my growth. I start thinking like, oh no, I'm not growing anymore, you know what I'm saying? And then that kind of like snowballs into the whole thing. But for me, it's really just been, if I just keep it pure, for me personally, like, it's been pretty steady with the growth. But it just really comes down to the purity aspect, and it just, it matters a lot. The diet, the fasting, the keeping, I don't know, there's just so much, in that regard. I'm trying to remember but I do think there is a natural ebb and flow as well. Like, for sure, there's a natural ebb and flow. I think that, I think the moon has a lot to do with it. I think the time of the year has a lot to do with it. I think your diet has a lot to do with it. But the thing also too is like, your life and the way that you structure your life has a lot to do with it as well. So it's like, I've said this many times, but I'll say it again just for the sake of, of saying it, is that, you have to make room for your spirituality in your life, but you can't make room for your life and your spirituality. So, like, because there's and that's because of the natural ebb and flow. Now your standard of deviation from your peak to your dip, it doesn't have to necessarily be from 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can lower your deviation and try to smooth it out so that you're more or less empowered. I'm saying that your lows are less low. And ideally, of course, you want to keep your highs as high as possible. But, because of that ebb and flow, and because of, for me at least, I can't always predict when I can't predict at all necessarily when I'm going to have a really like energized day or a really like tuned in, you know, a big day, but I can feel it in myself. I've come to learn myself really well so that I know, like, I know I'm going to have a good meditation before I meditate, you know, because of the way I feel, because I feel something in my body. Sometimes it's so strong that I can do it, you know, walking meditations and things like that. And I don't even have to close my eyes. But the thing is that if you feel like that and then you have to go to work or do something stressful or important, then you'll lose it. You won't get to act on it. You won't get to, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're amped up, like, it's like you still need to push it over the edge if you want to, like, really, really go. And so most people haven't created a situation where they can act on that. Most people, they could wake up, most people don't even have enough consciousness of their body to tell the difference between when they're having a good day or a bad day in that way. So the first step is to sensitize yourself to it and to know when it's happening. And then the really big step and the big sacrificial part of the whole thing is that you have to have a clear plate. You have to have an open schedule. You can't, you know, if you wake up and you're like, damn, I'm like juiced today, like it's going to happen. And then you got to go to work, you know, or you got to go into public and be around a bunch of fucking low vibe people. Like, it's not going to go over that edge, or at least for me, it doesn't, you know? So for me, it's really just been about setting up my life, so that I can act on these impulses and on these, you know, waves, when they happen. And the waves happen, there's a natural ebb and flow, but they happen more often for me based upon the purity of my body and the purity of my mind. So if I'm like stressed out or whatever, maybe, you know, that's the other thing. It's like, okay, you can't, you know, get called off to work when you're, you know, having a big spiritual moment and expect to still have the moment. But at the same token, you can't expect to have the big, you know, you can't expect those moments to come very often if you're stressed out about things like money and survival and things. You can't, you know, so there's a balance there where you need to figure out where you can have basically as much time and open schedule and be ready to act and make your own schedule and do whatever you need to do when you need to do it. But at the same time, you can't let your life fall apart to where you're so stressed out that those flows don't happen as much. And then at the same token, you know, physically, you know, if you're drinking coffee, smoking weed every day, like sometimes I do sometimes, then I, like, in those cases, I can't expect those things to come as often. But if I'm not smoking, if I'm not consuming any caffeine, not consuming any sugars, I'm, you know, keeping my folate in check and basically just keeping my my nervous system calm, you know, and then I'm fasting maybe and stuff regularly, which helps, you know, then those things happen more often. And then if I have the time at the same time to act on them, like, I mean, it can be quick. It doesn't have to be a long process for the spiritual journey, but it can be, but it doesn't have to be. And it can be really fast. If you're willing to just delete everything from your life, drop everything from your life, you know, you don't have a significant other to stress you out or anyone else like influencing you. You just become like you know, this is why like monks are monks, you know, because they're setting themselves up for success. They're setting themselves up to have these waves, you know, as rapidly as possible. You know, they're setting themselves up to have these waves as big and strong as possible. They're setting themselves up to have their lows be higher. You know what I'm saying? and they're setting themselves up in a way where nobody else can influence them, especially not negatively. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the thing. It's all just about, setting your life up to be able to ride the waves. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a spiritual surfer of a sort, And then Moritz says, best wishes from Germany. Thank you, Moritz. Nick says, you run another channel for more intimate conversation. Well, to be honest, no. And I don't really remember what you said before, but it's not really like a topic that I am interested in talking about, to be honest. The reason why I'm able to say that without remembering is because I remembered how it made me feel. It wasn't a good thing. Let's see. But we may one day I was thinking about doing another channel where there could be a little bit more open conversation. But we haven't done that yet. Let's see. The Law says, some people feel the rain, others just get wet. Rasta vibe. And I like that quote. That is a great quote. Swifty says, hello Swifty. Sam says, how do you maintain your physique throughout all these years, or do you use performance enhancing drugs? No, I don't use any performance enhancing drugs. When I was in the industry, I found that those type of performance enhancing stuff cause dependency really quick, and you actually get yourself in more trouble than it helps by using anything like that. Because if you're working regularly, then you don't want to have one day of enhancement for 3 days of dehancement and then have to take a bigger dose or whatever of anything else. But if you're talking about like steroids and things like that, no, I don't. I've never taken a steroid in my life or anything like that. I just historically I had a lot of sex, and nowadays I hike and I spend a lot of time in nature, and I don't wear shoes. I try to stay grounded as much as possible. I eat clean. I eat organic, only organic. I don't drink anything out of a paper cup or a plastic bottle, anything like that. It honestly, if I really had, if I was like in a different situation, like I think it's really important to have as little contact as possible with water that's been treated like by the city or anything like that. Like there's an experiment I've seen recently that was really, really disturbing, where person filled up 2 glasses of tap water, and then in one glass they put the chlorine test drops, and it just turns bright yellow, and then the other glass they stick their hand in it for a couple minutes, then they pull their hand out, they put the same drops in the other glass of water, and it doesn't react because the chlorine absorbs into your skin faster than the water. Your skin literally soaks up chlorine like a sponge. And imagine that's just the chlorine. That's just what they're telling you they're putting in it. You know what I'm saying? That's not even, who knows what's going on with all the PFAs and all the other stuff. I'm not trying to sow paranoia and things like that, but trust and believe that the powers that be that are controlling every aspect of our world, and the plumbing, from the plumbing to the air to the fucking making the fucking paper cups that you get at Starbucks, are absolutely not concerned about your health, and that most likely they're also the same entities that are benefiting from you having to take medication or whatever when you finally do fall ill from being exposed to all this shit at the same time. Like, so, you know, I really don't, I really don't, yeah, I don't think that adding anything into your body is the solution. Like, I see some of these, you know, I haven't gotten my, like, genetic age tested, but, like, I see some of these guys that are, like, popular for that on, you know, Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and they, like, take, like, 100 supplements a day, and I'm just, like, cringing, because I'm like, I just don't believe that the solution is to put more in. Most diseases, aging, and all those kind of things in the modern world are diseases of excess. There's too much. You know what I'm saying? Your body's being overran. Like, you know, like, if you eat clean and you only drink water, for example, watch how fast your urine turns clear when you drink water. You know what I'm saying? If you're not, you know, if you're being exposed to all this other stuff, like, you'll realize it's, like, damn near impossible for you to clarify your blood to the extent that, or to be hydrated to the extent that you need, because your body's literally working constantly, using water constantly to try to remove all these toxins and stuff. So, you know, I prefer fasting as, like, my way of staying healthy and, you know, promoting longevity. I believe that anything you can take out of your diet is good. Anything that you can take out of your body is good. I don't think that putting things into your body is going to help your longevity or your you stay healthy at all. And I think that the reason why that everybody thinks that, oh, they got to take all these supplements and vitamins and hormones and whatever else that they think that they need to stay young and healthy and whatever, is because nobody is going to profit from you fasting. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, people are going to lose money from you fasting, because normally they're selling you food. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is going to make money from you not drinking coffee. Nobody's going to make money from you, you know, catching your own rainwater and distilling it. Nobody's, you know what I'm saying? This world is created around getting as much money out of you as possible, and then making sure that that your longevity doesn't outlast your usefulness, you know. It's a huge mistake and fallacy to think that you need to take something to stay youthful or to have longevity. What you need is less. You know, you might need more sleep, more sun, you know, more water, more contact with the earth. But all these things are free. And so they don't want to promote that. They don't even, you know what I'm saying? They want you full of shit that they can sell you in plastic bottles, you know? And so just maybe think about that. Let's see. Can't read that. Frankie says, what's the funniest thing that happened to you on my spiritual journey? Like, did you ever try meditating or connecting with your higher self only to end up falling asleep and waking up more confused than enlightened? I mean, the funniest? I don't know. I mean, I don't, sometimes I really do wonder if I got hit by lightning or if I threw a lightning bolt. And it wasn't really that funny, but it would be kind of funny if that's what happened. And I'm just like, literally was like down at the valet like a few days later, like talking about, you know, and they're like, did you feel the building get hit by lightning? Like, I think it got hit right by your apartment. I'm like, oh yeah, I felt it. But it would be really funny if it's actually like I threw the lightning bolt. Um, the that was kind of funny. Let's see. I guess the you know, that whole first thing with the hands and the energy ball that I like pushed into my head was kind of funny because I had never had a, you know, quite such an intense, I guess you would call it a braingasm before, and that definitely left me a little bit confused. And I mean, I don't know, I guess this thing now, I'm very confused about the not sleeping thing. Like, I don't understand how this is possible because I feel pretty good. Like, I don't feel I actually, and the other weird thing is I'm not getting, like, I just quit drinking coffee a few days ago. And I'm not getting any withdrawal symptoms. That is very strange to me, and I am so confused by that because I'm not getting withdrawal symptoms. I'm staying completely conscious while I'm dreaming. Like, I'm sleeping and awake at the same time. Like, it's very, very weird. I have no clue what's going on, to be honest. So I would say that right now, at this exact moment, is my most confused part of this whole thing because I just don't even know how this is possible. I don't know what's going on. I hope that I sound normal to everybody. Like, I'm like, I actually feel really good. I don't know. It's very weird. What's up in Marshall Islands, Ramdy? How long did it take to grow a beard? I don't know. I never grew one before. This one is like, I don't know, probably a couple months old or something. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm still working on it. I feel like it doesn't really consider it a beard until like this little tuft right here, like at least overtakes the like part here. Then I'll feel like it's like starting to get a real beard, but I don't really grow any on my cheeks, so I like can't really grow a full beard. So I don't know. I'm probably the wrong person to ask about the beard thing because my beard is not it's not the beardiest. There's definitely people with hairier faces out there. 5 hours clean. Well, thank you, Asen. I'm glad that you enjoy my work. Why don't I shave a gap so I don't have a monobrow? Because I'm not really influenced by society in the way that I feel like I need to cut off part of my nervous system for the sake of people who are completely brainwashed by society. I think it's really, really, really weird that anybody plucks their unibrow or their eyebrows at all. I think it's bizarre, in fact, that it bothers people so much. I don't know. But I also enjoy the filter of like knowing when somebody is, you know, it keeps the most low vibrational people out of my life because, you know, people who are really bothered by that kind of thing are not the kind of people that I really want to be around or interact with. Looks like a Polish caveman. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know where the Polish thing comes, but maybe it's common to have unibrow in Poland. Maybe we'll move to Poland. A fake live, like a recording, or like an AI. Like, do you think I'm an AI? Is that what's going on? That'd be crazy. Oh man, they're out here today. I guess that's what I get for... Well, this is just what happens if I advertise on Twitter, because there's a bunch of, people who are just subscribed to my Twitter for the adult stuff. So sadly, these aren't the most mentally expanded type of people in many cases. Not to say that everybody that watches my other work is mentally deficient, but it does tend to bring in an above average amount of low thinking people. You should, Raphael. You should definitely just let yourself be natural, I think, because A, it's part of your body. B, it's the way that the Creator made you. And C, it's good practice to have confidence in the face of annoying people. Do I still have a membership option for the channel? I do. You guys, if you guys want to, eventually I am going to turn on the members only chat, so that we don't have to hear from all of the, riffraff. So if you do want to subscribe, it's only 99 cents, and that will keep you active when I do enable the troll barrier, which is definitely something that is going to happen eventually, because it does, as much as it doesn't really bother me that much, it does interrupt the flow of the chat and the streams when these people start coming in bulk. So, and there's a Telegram group, which, check the chat, there's a link to all that. Yeah. Frankita says, do you remember any spiritual experiences from my childhood, like a moment when I felt deeply connected to something greater, had an unusual sense of knowing that? It seemed to go beyond what you could understand. Well, I had a dream when I was like 12, where in the beginning of the dream, I was like a little boy. And I was like, I remember like in the beginning, like, so many details of my whole, like in the beginning of the dream, I was a little boy. In the end, I was an old man. And I lived a whole life. Like, it was a dream, but it was a whole life. And it was like, I remember so many details. Like, I was like, I remember running through the woods with, some girl, and then I got bit by a snake, and I was sick for a long time because of the snake. And then I remembered, and then there was like a gap at some point, but I remembered, getting married. I remembered I flew a biplane as like a crop duster. Was my job, I was like a farmer, and like in the end I was like in this like cabin up in the mountains, and like my whole family was like sitting around me, like telling me goodbye, and then I died, and that's when I woke back up into this life. And for years, I mean, for 10 years, 15 years or something, I couldn't really talk about that without tearing up and like wanting to cry, because I missed my family so much from that dream. And it wasn't until more recently that I found myself back in that, like I had another dream that I was that guy again. But in that dream, I was in the war, in the World War One, and I was a pilot as well. And, you know, it like filled the gap of like the space that I didn't remember from that other dream. But it was, yeah, really weird, because that's like, it was a whole life. I dreamt a whole life in like 13 hours. It's crazy. Noi, welcome. Good to have you. Have you ever thought about writing a book about my journeys? Yes, I definitely have. And I intend to, actually. I intend to eventually, you know, my own progression towards what I was saying earlier, of setting my life up to be in a way where I can pursue my spirituality to the fullest, is, you know, eventually I want to remove the technology from my life. Like, even now, like, I often don't carry my phone on me. Something that is interesting enough, most people are like scared to do that. You know, the average person, at least in America, is scared to go out without their phone, and that's by design. You know, like when you're on Twitter or whatever, or Instagram, and they're showing all these videos where people are going psycho, and the person's just sitting there like recording them, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, those are all like created to keep you in a state of fear, to be without your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, they promote those, like, and turn up the reach on those kind of videos like so much, because they never want you to not have your phone on you. They want to count every step that you take. They want to, you know, like, they have infrared shit in there, you know, for your facial recognition and stuff. They want to know your body temperature. They want to know, you know, they literally know the heat signature of your face. You know what I'm saying? They know everything about you. They listen to everything you say. You know, they know every place that you go. They know the certain routes that you take, and they never want you to be without your phone. And so most people it works on them. They're terrified to be without their phone. They think their phone is going to keep them safe. But in reality, what keeps you safe is, I'm going to quote Jordan Peterson, but you need to be like a dangerous person. Like, you need to be the danger. It doesn't mean that you should act on it or do anything. Like, you know, you shouldn't be out there like committing violence or looking for problems or whatever. But if something happens, rather than you picking up your phone to record it, you should be the more dangerous person, or at least try to be. You know, you should be comfortable with being disconnected from technology, and most people are not. And so I eventually would like to not even carry a phone ever at all. I'd like to just have a landline or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, for the cases when I need to talk to somebody, or who knows, maybe I'll even go more wild than that. But you know, writing is the way I intend to make my living, or, you know, because we still sadly live in a world, and, you know, realistically, I mean, then that's just like a phase along the way too. Eventually I would like to become fully ascetic, to where you know, I can just exist and talk, you know, that people will eventually value me enough that I won't need anything, because then that's why I just continuously serve. I trying to, even though I don't want to have this device on me, or have this device around me, or I don't want all this radiation and electromagnetic waves interfering with my own aura and things, I do this as like a sacrifice to help, you know, spread whatever I've learned in the hopes that maybe I open a few other people's eyes. And the reality is that, you know, enlightenment and things like that is such a rare thing that happens to so few people, that literally, you know, if you bring one person, much less 10 people, to that point, or even trigger something to where they want to seek that out and they eventually do arrive there, it's, you know, the most worthy sacrifice. You've done something absolutely beautiful for this world at that point, because from that moment, that's always going to be a good person. That's going to be a person that's always going to try to help people and always going to have the world's best intentions in their heart, you know. And literally even one person like that is like incredibly valuable to this world, because there's so few. And so as part of my progression towards that, eventually I will switch to writing as my main, you know, form of output, because the cool thing is about writing is all you need is a pen and paper. You don't need an internet connection. You don't need a satellite connection. You don't need electricity. You can just write, you know. And so eventually that will be taking the place of these streams and things. But for now, we're working with what we got. And, you know, this is what we got. So, namaste, Sam. All good, Noi. Don't worry about being late. I'm happy to have you. Have I watched the show Lost? Kind of reminds me of the past live you just spoke about. I seen maybe a couple episodes. I didn't really watch enough of it to know what it was about, I guess. And I think that maybe it was like already like towards the end or something, because I remember them like I think they like turned out to be like they were all dead or something. I don't know. It was some kind of like I think it was like some kind of a, what do you call that when you're like in between the afterlife, purgatory, something like that. It could be like that. I don't know. We'll find out. Ricky just says, every breath you take and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. It's a song. Yeah, that's true. Is that the name of the band, The Police? That's so funny. I guess it's, yeah, pretty much like that. Sam, stop it. How do you think the principles of asceticism, like simplicity, self-discipline, and detachment, can be integrated into everyday modern life without giving up the demands of the world that we live in? This is a great question. I feel like that's like a stream in itself. I think that, one second, I'm gonna actually screenshot that because it's so good. I think I do want to do a whole stream about that. I've been thinking about that a lot. Like I actually think I might like to even write a book on that called Neo Asceticism. That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. You know, I think I talked too soon. I like just now started getting the caffeine headache. So I'm like kind of powering down a little bit. I don't know how much farther I'm going to be able to go with this stream. But that's That is an amazing question. I screenshotted that, and I think I'm going to think about that, and I'm going to make the next stream will be on the topic of Neo Asceticism and how to be ascetic in the modern world. That is a great question, but I can't answer it right at this moment. I need to think about it, because honestly, I will not do a good job if I rush that out, and it's just such a big topic, and it's something that I think it's a philosophy that's overdue, and that the world needs to hear something about, and I hope that I'm not the last to write about it or talk about it. I hope that but I do hope that I can spur a movement of people thinking about it, and maybe something new can be created. It's hard in the Western world. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much one of the main reasons why Sam, stop it, dude. Thank you. Why I kind of am geared towards, I've been trying to get myself to India or somewhere where life like that is more normal. It can be accommodated. And it's also something I noticed I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but I did suspect at some point, and I still suspect, that they are able to do negative things to us using these phones. I think that these phones are pretty much like one of the most powerful weapons that they have against us. And not just the phones, but the cell towers as well. I feel that the constant barrage of this radiation stuff is a major problem, and that it also has the potential to affect us spiritually in a negative way. And I very first started having my awakening when I was in Mexico, and I was also experiencing some pretty bad health issues when I was in the States before I went to Mexico. And I also was sadly very politically motivated when I was streaming prior to going to Mexico, when I was getting sick, and when I was also basically trafficked, or I was shadow banned on Instagram. And I suspect that they could have been targeting me at the time. And when I was in Mexico, the service was at the best 3G, and then that's when I started feeling better with my health, is when I was there for the long term. That's when I started having my spiritual awakening, when I was there long term. And during that time, I was in a place where there was no 4G or 5G or even LTE. So I would like to return to a situation where I am not near any kind of 4G or 5G towers or service. And honestly, I would like to just get rid of the phone altogether. I have no desire to carry this device around with me. It just blows my mind too that it's like people are paying for their own surveillance. They're paying for their ball and chain. Damn, this headache just hit me, and I feel like I just like started like it changed my whole face. Like I feel like I look like I'm in pain. Sorry. I'm trying here, you guys. I don't know why it took so long for that to hit me. La la. Is that, wait, that's probably not the la la that I know, actually. It's a different la la. There was a la la that used to come to our stream, so. Yes, Neo Asceticism. I'm going to work on that. You guys, I am going to go ahead and call the stream. I'm getting a major fucking headache. Noi, wow, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That is so kind of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You guys, if anyone has any last minute questions, I will totally be happy to squeeze out an answer. But kind of feels like my eyes are getting like too big for my head right now. So I'm not really sure if I can continue much further with this stream. But I am glad that we got to catch up a little bit. I'm going to go try to find some kind of herbal remedy to whatever. If anyone does have interest in quitting caffeine and wants some advice, the best thing that I've found for the headache that's not a drug or anything is mint tea. The mint tea takes away the headache. Sadly, it only works for about 10 minutes, so you have to like continuously drink the mint tea, you know, so you kind of just mint tea it up all day, and that definitely helps a lot. But that's the best remedy that I've found, a natural remedy for the caffeine headaches. Definitely going to get some water in there. I've been doing the water thing. Welcome, Brenda. Happy that you made it. We are sadly wrapping up. It wasn't a super long stream as usual, but I did want to just pop back in here and say hello to everybody. Usually when I go cold turkey on the caffeine, it's only one day of really bad pain. So I'll see you all very soon, because I've also, you know, the wean down method kind of does help a little bit. But I find that prolonging it is worse than making it than just going cold turkey and taking the one horrible day. That's great. No coffee for 5 years. Do you drink other things with caffeine? Yeah, black tea is just a different type of caffeine. But that would work for sure. I have no doubt that if I had a black tea, I would immediately feel better. So, oh, okay, you drink tea. Well, you guys, so it's not just the coffee, to be honest, I don't think. I think that possibly it's caffeine in general, or really any kind of stimulant. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, you know, if you're doing other things that also can have an effect in that negative way. But yeah, fuck, this is getting so bad. You guys, okay, I gotta go. Much love, everybody. I will see you soon. There's also was a recent stream on Instagram, which was fairly good. And so if you guys want to go check that out, also, go check it out. But much love, everybody. See you.